Hello, everybody. My name is Caleb, and you're watching Live for Love TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Hi, Akuya here. I'm watching Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV, very educative program. Please subscribe, like, and share. Bless up, Aya.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Today's the 22nd day of the 7th month of the 22nd year inside the 21st century. I hope everyone's doing well out there. I feel a little bit hoarse today, just come out the sauna, so I don't know if I came out too quick and it's a little bit chilly, but feeling a little bit hoarse. Anyway, I'm gonna when I deal with Live for Love TV, and every time I come in front of the camera, I'm always talking to my tribe. What I call my tribe, I call it my friends and my family. But you know, it's the tribe, it's the like-minders. I know you get people pass through, see your videos on YouTube or wherever it is, and they may, pick up on it or not pick it up. But I always consider the tribe that I belong to when I put out a video. And that's who I'm talking to. So anybody else that's not part of the tribe, you hear this, you either join the tribe or you move on. Anyway, again, here we go. To the tribe, I'm going to ask some questions, and you can stop the video or pause it or just have a quick think about it before you go on. And the first question is, does your God, or does God in your concept, does God exist? Does God exist? You can think about that for a second. The second question I'm going to ask is, do you watching this exist? You can stop and think about that for a second. Now, taking the last question first, I'm sure many of you are going to say, of course I exist. You're talking, I'm watching you, so whatsoever. So I'm asking you, how do you know you exist? How do you know you exist? And without even getting any feedback, you can put it in the comments, but any feedback, I know you're going to tell me, because you can see yourself, because you can touch yourself, you're aware of yourself. So you're using your 5 senses to say you exist. That's all well and good. So when I go back and ask you, does God exist? Can you use your 5 senses to say God exists? Or you're going to have to invent a 6th sense to say God exists. And if you say you've got a 6th sense and that makes you know God exists, then you've got to ask, can that 6th sense tell you if you exist? Now, it sounds like some people think I'm into semantics or the conundrums, but the truth is this, that if you exist, by the very terminology that you know you exist, God will not exist. And if God exists, by the very terminology that you know God exists, you cannot exist. Now, this has been played with many, many times before, because in the Hinduism, they talk about Maya, and they say we're all a dream in the mind of God. So basically, we don't exist. We're just figments of our own imagination in God's mind. That's why we're alive, yeah? So that's why I said that if you go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years to the Vedas in Hinduism, these people have thought about these questions that I'm putting out now to you many, many years ago. Many years ago. Because when I say, do you know if you exist, or do you know if God exists, I'm taking it out of the belief, completely out of belief, because you can believe anything you want. And we all know that. I could believe I'm a giraffe, I could believe I'm the fastest runner in the world. You can believe anything you want. So when someone says, oh, I believe in God, it means nothing. It's just another belief. You can believe anything you want. It has no substance when somebody says that. So the truth is, either I and you as human beings are concepts and God is real, or we're real and God is a concept. You can't have it both ways. Now, if this is too difficult for you to understand or even to play around with in your mind, then you really are you're experiencing something very sad. It means your intellectual capacity is very limited. Very, very limited. Because people always tell you God exists. And this is why, but yet when you see their behavior and their misbehavior, you can't believe that these people believe in any God that you do. So the reason why I say that is when the Christ that's written in the Bible says, when you see the Son, you see the Father. When he says, I and the Father are one, he recognizes you can't have two separate things. That's duality. There cannot be two separate things. You cannot be telling somebody about a God that cannot be experience with the five senses. It just could just sound like foolishness. So he looked at the people and said, when you see the Son, you see the Father. I and the Father are one. Total consciousness, total sense. You can't talk about a God that exists and then put him outside of yourself. You can't do that. Because once you do that, then it's just like you're pointing to a place that doesn't exist. And when a person gets to that place, they still can't find this so-called God. You know, people always used to point, when I was young, we said, where's heaven and where's God? They say, up there somewhere. People look up there. What do you mean up there? We're on a round planet. The up there is down there. When you're on something that's round, what's up to you is down to the people on the other side of the world. So when you say up there, what does that mean? On a flat planet, up there may exist. But if you're on a round planet, then the up there is down there to other people. That's why they say Australia is down under. Make sense? Right. So very, very easy concept for you to understand if you're using your intellect and your consciousness that you were born with. Now I know some people are so stuck in their belief systems that they think, well, yeah, I know God exists. I've experienced God. With what? What have you experienced God with? Any of your senses? And if you had experienced God with those same senses, then the very proof that you claim you've experienced God with some of your senses, you'd be able to experience God every second of the day. So if you can see something, you can see it all the time. Once something exists, it exists forever. It may change its form, but it'll always exist. So you can't say that you've experienced God with your five senses if you're saying you experience yourself with your five senses. It's not the same thing, is it? That's why you're left with faith and belief. I mean, as I said, that's to the never never. You know, you can make any concept and say anything you want about that, but that's how it is. It's very, very difficult. So some people may look at this and say, well, I'm just disturbing their meditation, and what do I believe? Well, there you go. There's your problem right there. What I believe is inconsequential, because what I believe has got nothing to do with fact. It has nothing to do with the facts, the real facts and the real knowledge, what a person believes, including myself. So I don't care what you believe, and certainly you should not be caring about what I believe. What you should care about is what I know, what I can prove, and what I can bring forward into the conscious space that we're in. That's what you should care about, not what I believe. Think about these things. Comment if you need to comment, and if you don't, just take it and think about it. You know, don't go off to your brother or sister and whatever and make them think he's lost the plot or she's lost the plot or they've gone crazy, they're questioning God and all this kind of thing. You're not questioning God. If you know you exist, then everything else must be a concept. Concept because it cannot be experienced with the same senses that proved you existed. Think about that for a little while and take care. Live for Love TV.
People, one step more, one step more, one step more, one step more until you reach your goals. One step more. This is Live for Love.